Hello and welcome back to Take the Snap. I'm JJ, and today I'll be showing with you my first round mock draft, what every team should do. Before we start, let's talk about some breaking news. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is going to get traded to the Jets. Here are the trade details. The Jets and Packers are swapping first round picks in 2023 draft, and the Jets also receive a 5th round pick. As I said before, the Jets and the Packers are swapping first round picks. The Packers also get a 2nd round pick in 2023 and a 2023 6th round pick. They also receive a 2024 2nd round pick that becomes a 1st round pick if Aaron Rodgers plays more than 65% of the snaps. I think this was a great decision for both teams. The Jets get the quarterback they need, and the Packers get rid of a quarterback that they don't want. They get to start Jordan Love, and they get a bunch of draft capital to help Jordan Love build off. So I think both teams will be happy with this trade, and I think that it will work out well at the end for both. On to the mock draft. Just a reminder before this starts. This mock draft is not what I think every team will do. This is what I think every team should do. You are also not to make any mock trades. The Carolina Panthers have the first pick, and I have them selecting Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama. I think that the Panthers will do this because that they need a quarterback, and that Bryce Young is the best available quarterback for them. So I think this is just an obvious choice that the Panthers will select Bryce Young, and that they should take Bryce Young. The Houston Texans have the number 2 selection. I have them drafting C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State. I know you've heard this 1,000 times. Houston, take the quarterback. I agree. Take the quarterback. I know some people are saying they won't. I don't know if they will, but I think they should take the quarterback because they really don't have any quarterback that they can really develop. And I think that C.J. Stroud's really good, 2nd best quarterback in this draft, and I think that he will be very successful in their system. And that's why I think that the Texans should take the quarterback. The Cardinals have the number 3 selection, and I have them drafting Will Anderson Jr., edge rusher, Alabama. I think Will Anderson Jr. is probably one of the best non-quarterbacks in this draft, and I think that the Cardinals really need some defensive line help. And I think that I don't think they'll have Jalen Carter because the off the field issues, and they don't need people like that. But I think that Will Anderson Jr. is a great selection. He always tries his hardest, and I think that that's why they'll take Will Anderson Jr. The Colts have the number 4 selection. I have them drafting Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Florida. I think Anthony Richardson is the 3rd best quarterback in this draft class, and the Colts need a quarterback. So I think that they should go and get Anthony Richardson. I think this would be a great choice because he's very athletic, and with Shane Steichen, that he develops athletic quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts. And I think that if the Colts do this, well then they'll be very successful, and they might even win the division. Maybe. I think they'll probably get 2nd in their division if they do this. The Seattle Seahawks have the number 5 selection. I am selecting Jalen Carter, defensive interior, Georgia. I just think that the Seahawks need a defensive player, especially defensive line help. And I think that Jalen Carter is the best available defensive lineman and the best available player. So I think you just have to go with the best available player at this point. And that's why I think that they should take the Jalen Carter, because that if they take Jalen Carter, they get that defensive line help they need, and they get a really good player in Jalen Carter. The Lions have the number 6 pick, and I have them drafting Tyree Wilson, edge rusher, Texas Tech. I have them selecting Tyree Wilson because I think that he's just a great player, 2nd best edge rusher in this draft, best available player, and I think that the Lions could really need help on the defensive line, much like the Seahawks. And I think that it will be very helpful if they get an edge rusher because Tyree Wilson's really good. I've heard some reports that teams are saying that he might even be better than Will Anderson Jr. So I think that Tyree Wilson is a really good choice here, and I think that's why they'll pick him. The Raiders have the number 7 selection, and I think that they should draft Peter Skoronski, tackle, Northwestern. Raiders, you don't need a quarterback. You have Jimmy Garoppolo, and you made it clear multiple times that you think that he is really good. So you really think that, don't draft a quarterback. I know that there's been reports like that the Raiders GM said, oh, I think that we need a quarterback, a rookie quarterback to compete with Jimmy Garoppolo, but I don't think you do. I think that you just need some O-line help to help Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think Peter Skoronski provides that. He's a really good, very flexible player that he can go any position on the O-line, and that's why I think that they will select Peter Skoronski. Falcons have the number 8 selection. I have them selecting Jackson Smith-Njigba, a wide receiver, Ohio State. Jackson Smith-Njigba, he's just a great player overall. I think that he will be really helpful for Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder needs some more weapons, and I think that they won't take a quarterback. I think that they don't need a quarterback because they have Desmond Ridder. And I think that Jackson Smith-Njigba, even though he was injured last season with Ohio State, he's just the best wide receiver in this draft by far. And I think that he will really help the Atlanta Falcons. The Bears have the 9th selection. I have them drafting Devon Witherspoon, cornerback, Illinois. Devon Witherspoon is just an amazing player, and the Bears, they need defensive help. The defense was really bad last season, and I think that Devon Witherspoon will really improve them, really help them, and I think that he's one of the best available players. He's the best cornerback in the draft, in my opinion, and I think that he's just a great player overall, and that's why I think that the Bears will select Devon Witherspoon. The Eagles have the 10th selection, and I think that they should select B.J. Robinson, running back, Texas. B.J. Robinson, he's so good. He's so athletic. One of the best players in this draft. But I don't think they will. But I think they should draft B.J. Robinson. Because I think that he'd just be a great addition to the team. And I think that he'll just be helpful to have around B.J. Robinson. They'll start him. And I think that he'll be very successful in this league. Especially in a great scheme like the Eagles have. And that's why I think they should draft B.J. Robinson. The Titans have the 11th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. I think they'll select Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky. Ryan Tannehill isn't it anymore. I don't think he will be the starting quarterback. I don't think he should be the starting quarterback, and I think that they need a quarterback. So that's why I think the Titans will draft Will Levis, and I think that they should draft him, and I think that will be a good decision for them. Because they need a quarterback, and Will Levis is the best available quarterback. He's one of the top 4 main prospects that we've all been talking about. So that's why I think they should draft Will Levis. With the 12th pick, the Texans are on the clock again. And I think they should draft Nolan Smith, edge rusher, Georgia. He's really good. I think that he's a really good edge rusher. There's a lot of good edge rushers in the draft, actually. And I think that he's one of them, and I think that they could really improve a lot of things, but I think Texas could definitely improve the defensive line, and that it would help them a lot. That's why I think they should draft Nolan Smith. With the 13th pick, I have the Jets selecting Paris Johnson Jr., tackle, Ohio State. I think they will select Paris Johnson Jr. because with Aaron Rodgers, he gets the wide receiver who's going to get somewhere else. So I think that they need to protect Aaron Rodgers. So I think that the Jets will go and get an offensive lineman. I think Paris Johnson Jr. is the best available choice. He's a really good offensive lineman. And I think that if the Jets will draft him because they can keep him healthy, Aaron Rodgers. And that's why I think they will select Paris Johnson Jr. The 14th pick, I have the Patriots selecting Myles Murphy, edge rusher, Clemson. The Patriots defense, it was okay last year, but I think they can always improve. So that's why I think that, because Bill Belichick's a defensive-minded coach, I think they'll go out, and I think they should go out and get an edge rusher in Myles Murphy. He's a really good player. He's really underrated, but he's really good. That's why I think the Patriots should go out and get him. With the 15th pick, I have the Packers selecting Dalton Kincaid, tight end, Utah. I think that the Packers always need to get better supporting cast for Jalen Love, because I think that that Jalen Love's a young quarterback. He hasn't played much, and he needs offensive linemen and pass catchers. And I think a tight end will supply both, and a lot of good tight ends in the draft. Dalton Kincaid, in my opinion, is the best. So I think you go get Dalton Kincaid, get a better pass catcher and a lineman, and then Jordan Love will be better. The 16th pick, I have the Commanders selecting Michael Mayer, tight end, Notre Dame. Same situation like the Packers. They have a young quarterback who needs a pass catcher and O-lineman, and I think the tight end will survive that. Michael Mayer is the second best tight end in this class, arguably the first, and that's why I think that the Commanders should go out and get him, and that will really help the quarterback, Sam Howell. 17th pick, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Oregon. I think I'll draft Christian Gonzalez because their defense was okay, but they need better quarterbacks. If they get better quarterbacks, then I think that will really help them improve. I think that will really help their team get better because they almost made the playoffs last year. But I think that they just need a better defense. And I think that if they get Christian Gonzalez, that will help them possibly even be a playoff team. The Lions are on the clock next with the 18th pick. I think they'll select Khalil Kancey, defensive interior, Pittsburgh. I think that the Lions defense has room for improvement. They were good last year, but I think there's room for improvement. The defensive line, not really especially, but I think that will really help Aiden Hutchinson and really give him another piece to that defensive line. And I think they should draft Khalil Kancey. The Buccaneers have the 19th pick. I think they draft Broderick Jones, tackle in Georgia. The Buccaneers, they're not going to be that good this year, in my opinion. Broderick Jones will help that O-line, and I think that they might outside winning the division, but they definitely need O-line help for the young quarterback. And I think that Broderick Jones is really good. He provides the O-line help, and then I think that this will be a good move for the Buccaneers. With the 20th pick, the Seattle Seahawks I think they'll take Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College. Zay Flowers, he's one of my favorite players in this draft. He's underrated, but he will really help improve the offense with DK Metcalf already there. I think that he'll just be a complimentary piece, but really good, and that's why I think they should take Zay Flowers. With the 21st pick, I have the Chargers drafting Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC. I think that they'll take Jordan Addison because he's the third best wide receiver in this draft. They don't have any extraordinary wide receivers. And I think that Jordan Addison might actually be an extraordinary wide receiver. That's why I think they'll draft Jordan Addison. Ravens have the 22nd pick. I think they'll draft Joey Porter Jr., cornerback, Penn State. I consider going wide receiver here, but I don't think that's needed. I think that they really need a solid defensive player, and I think that Joey Porter Jr. provides that. I mean, especially if Lamar is gone, they're going to need to step up their defense, and I think that this will really help in Joey Porter Jr. With the 23rd pick, I have the Vikings selecting Darnell Wright, tackle, Tennessee. I don't think this will happen, but the Vikings don't need a quarterback. Kirk Cousins is good enough to get you to the playoffs, and you guys not barely, but didn't lose that game by much in the playoffs. So I think that if they can just improve the O-line to protect Kirk Cousins, well, they don't need a new quarterback. And I think Darnell Wright really provides some good protection. So that's why I think they should draft Darnell Wright. With the 24th pick, I had the Jaguars looking O'Cyrus Torrence, guard, Florida. This is the first guard or center I have going off the board, and I think that he'll go to the Jaguars because I think that Trevor Lawrence definitely needs protective, definitely needs a guard or center, and I think O'Cyrus Torrence really provides quality protection. The 25th pick, I have the Giants selecting Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, TCU. Now, I think that Quentin Johnson, he could be really good. He has the drop issues. He'll need more develop. But I think that the Giants are really good developing players. Like with Daniel Jones, they were really good at developing him. So I think that they can really develop Quentin Johnson and get a solid wide receiver. That's why I think they should draft Quentin Johnson. With the 26th pick, I think the Cowboys should draft Deonte Banks, cornerback, Maryland. The Cowboys' offense, there was nothing wrong with it. I think that was they need to just play better. But the defense, I think that might have been the problem. Like, they didn't have a lot of solid defensive players besides the D-line and linebackers. That's why I think that they just need a little more help, especially in that backfield. So I think they'll select this cornerback, Deonte Banks. With the 27th pick, I think that the Bills will select Jamal Gibbs, running back, Alabama. I think that this will be a really helpful pick. I think that the Bills need a running back, and I think that Jamal Gibbs really is a really good running back, and I think that he is first-round talented. I think they should draft him. I don't think they will, but I think they should. With the 28th pick, I have the Bengals selecting Brian Branch, safety, Alabama. Brian Branch is really good. I think that the Bengals, after trading away Jesse Bates the third, I think that they really just need more safety and more safety help. So I think they'll get Brian Branch. He's the best safety in this draft. And I think that he'll just be amazing for the Bengals. For the 29th pick, I was saying selecting Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback, Mississippi State. I think there's a lot of things you could have done here that I think they should have done. But I think Emmanuel Forbes is just the best positional because they need a new cornerback, I feel like they need to do a lot of things. I feel like cornerback's one of those positions they really need to improve on. Emmanuel Forbes, I think that he'll really help them improve. With the 30th pick, I have the Eagles selecting Mazi Smith, defensive interior, Michigan. I think that the Eagles' defensive line is pretty good, but I think there's always room for improvement. That's what I think here. Always room for improvement. And I think that Mazi Smith will really help them improve. It will really help them get better, get them more sacks, And that's why I think they should draft Muzzie Smith. And with the 31st pick in the 2023 NFL draft, I think the Chiefs will select Joshua Downs, wide receiver, North Carolina. I think they should do this because they need another wide receiver. He's the best available wide receiver. I think he's underrated, and that's why I think that he will really help them and really help elevate them. And I think that could be a dynasty, and this might be a good piece to it. That's why I think the Chiefs should select Joshua Downs. That's all for today. Thanks for listening to Take the Snap.